Hello, peoples. That's my earpiece falls
Hey,
out.
hey, everybody.
How's everybody doing? Clint, I got a new hat.
That is a nice hat. That is
Check
not.
it
I'm
out,
going
man.
to today, but I tell you, I'm letting the hair grow out a little bit. Look at that,
Look at
man.
you. Look at you. That way your bald spot's more pronounced. Hey, but anyway, sorry. Didn't mean to say that.
There it is. What it
Clint's
is.
coming at to us live from Las Vegas, baby.
Las Vegas, Nevada. Drove here from Arkansas.
He says
You
he goes there for jujitsu and another vacation.
know,
I think he's really there because he's got a side gig playing Elvis.
I wish.
With that mustache, Magnum PI, one of the two.
Magnum PI in the shirt and the
Is that
mustache.
it? Are you marrying people as Magnum PI? That's what you're doing, aren't you?
That's it. You
The little
100%.
roadside chapel.
Yeah.
There's
Little
that many
driver.
people that want Magnum PI. Are you wearing short shorts and
Well,
driving a red Ferrari for
there,
the week
man, I don't know if I could fit in a red Ferrari.
with the
I just,
top down?
yeah. Still be uncomfortable. Not a lot of leg room,
That's how I
but
used to have to fit in Tracy's. It's the only way I could ride with her. Remember back in the day, her
oh,
Mazda Miata.
yeah.
I tried to get in at one time with the top up. I was like, no, no, this ain't gonna happen.
Felt like Mr. Incredible driving some stuff like
That's right. Yeah. Well, folks, hey, welcome to Hawg Slop. Let's get this thing started. We're gonna have maybe a little shorter one, getting ready for the UAPB game. Clint's trying to vacation in Las Vegas. Let's go with it. Hit it, Shaman.
from Lost.
1, 2, 3, 4. You ever seen a lame man walk? Ever heard a dumb man talk? Never seen a blind man see? I promise you will change his thing. You ever seen a cancer dead? Ever seen all the poor get fed? Ever seen a prisoner set free? I promise you will change his thing.
What's up, everybody? It's time. It's time for the Hawg Slop podcast. I'm your boy, Bigger T, joined from parts unknown. No, they're not unknown. He's in Vegas, baby. Viva Las Vegas. Come on, Clint. Viva.
Viva Las Vegas.
Hey, man. He's wrecking the strip.
Yeah.
Probably staying away from there.
Dude, I tell you what, I did. I'm not gonna lie. I rarely I come here and I don't really gamble much, but I'll gamble. I won $6 today, which I immediately lost.
Maybe you're a rich man.
Yeah. So I'm even at the casinos.
Nah, way to go.
Up for the trip. So
That's a win. Even as a win, casino.
I don't. I mean, I'd say that like I gambled $20 and won
Yeah.
5,
Yeah.
then lost it. So
Man, this is what the third year in a row you've been out there for opening game.
third year in a row,
what
but
you're saying?
I watched the Cincinnati game from my Airbnb, and then last year, I don't remember who we opened with last
Western
year.
Carolina, I believe.
Western Carolina, I was here. And then this year, I'll be watching it. I've already told him like Thursday, I'm watching the game. I said we're gonna go. Actually, Echo and Rig, who Carmona, Junior Carmona, told us about. They sell steaks. I'm actually going to go there. I'm going to get steaks, and I'm going to grill steaks for the game.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
staying in an Airbnb.
Airbnb, got a pool. About to go. As soon as we get done with this, I'm going to go hop in it.
Nice.
Clothing optional. No, I'm joking.
Yikes. Way yikes.
Yeah.
Well, man, this is it, man. It's game week. Are you excited?
It is game week. You know, me and you were talking about this before we went on. Like, this is the one. I mean, we did our prediction show last week. You had us at 7-5. I had us at 8-4.
Yeah.
Otis Kirk agreed with me, had us at 8-4.
Oh, wow.
So I'm excited about the season. I think you and I both are excited to see where it goes. We want to see if the one thing that was really the Achilles heel of Arkansas Razorbacks last year is fixed.
Yeah.
Is fixed. And I've got another. I know we're going to be chasing some rabbits today, just because it's the nature of the podcast. Number one, But I was thinking today, when a quarterback stays, that's the money position, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the money. So the more they stay, the more money they probably make. And the more their teammates will kind of start to resent them a little bit. So are you thinking it's almost better for the quarterback to transfer every couple of years and not be in one place? I'm asking you as a friend. I'm asking you.
Sadly, it could be, man. I mean,
it could be, because I think that really happened with KJ.
Depends on the type of kid it is, probably. I mean,
Yeah.
if they let it go to their head or not. I mean,
look, you, if you were 20 years old and they gave you a lot of money, you would handle it very well. I think you would have handled it well and been like a cool guy to be around. You give 21-year-old Clint Clark $1 million and a Corvette, you're going to have a hard time wrangling him in. I mean, I'm just saying.
We would have a hard time if we did that to you now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Not even 28 years much younger.
That's right.
But you know,
but I think, I mean, and doesn't that make what Arch Manning's doing at Texas by sitting behind another quarterback when he could go out and start at pretty much whatever school he wanted to? Just about.
Would you say Arch is probably, you would consider him a top 5 quarterback?
Probably so. I mean, well, we don't know. He hadn't been on the field, but that much. But from what we understand and what he's showing, I mean, what everybody talks about, I mean, there's a chance he is, and he's sitting behind another guy that's really, really good. I mean, and so that, to me, that if I'm an NFL scout and that guy comes in next year or whenever he starts, I'm thinking that's my guy, because he's going to be a team leader.
They could put his tape of his uncles on TV, and I mean, I don't think people realize how good Eli was. I mean, if Eli's brother wasn't Peyton, they would be talking about him completely different.
Yeah.
He's going to be compared to Peyton his entire life, in which Arch is going to be compared to Peyton and Eli both.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have 4 Super Bowls wins amongst them. Travis, something awesome happened this weekend.
What was that?
Well, can we talk about it now? Am I going too far out? But my favorite football coach, and then
I was going to ask you about that. Yeah,
went to Dublin, Ireland.
Went all the way to Dublin
with a top 10 school to play the juggernaut Georgia Tech University.
That's right. They were talking about Florida State as a playoff team.
And you know what? And DJ Ugule, he
Sure.
For some reason it just never clicked in Clemson. Like, he's a 5-star recruit, like one of the top quarterback recruits in the country. Went to Oregon State, killed it at Oregon State. He was in the conversation for Heisman, and I don't think he made it to New York or anything, but he was in the conversation for it. Had a good year. Went to Florida State and did not go
Welcome
swell.
to Florida State.
Got beat by Haynes King and the Georgia Tech, the Ramblin' Wreck. And that just see, but here's the other thing about that game is I can name DJ Ugule's 2 previous stops. And Haynes King, he was at A&M.
Yeah. So
kind of goes, my thing is, by saying all that, is I love to just trash Mike Norvell, because we all know how I felt Mike Norvell. Or friends know how I feel about Mike Norvell, because I said it in the chat.
Yeah.
In the text chain. The Travis like, yeah, that's Clint's felt that way.
Some of them were kind of defending him because he's a UCA guy.
It had nothing to do with his alma mater. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like my Arkansas Tech UCA rivalry doesn't translate to that. I mean, if he's head coach at Arkansas, I would be cheering for him. But he's not. He's at Florida State. He chickened out of several football games in 2020. Period. The end. And I don't think he exudes toughness, and I think he got his team got whooped.
Yeah.
So I say they got whooped. They lost on a last-second field goal. They didn't get run off the field, but they lost to Georgia Tech, which has not been very good. I bring all that up, Travis, because I really wanted to make this point. I don't think anybody knows in the transfer portal era who's going to be good, who's going to be bad until the season starts.
Mm.
I think the top 25 is kind of going to be a guideline because number one, you don't, especially in transfer portal area, you have no idea what chemistry is going to be like.
Yep.
You just don't. You don't know if it's going to click or it's not going to click.
And look at Arkansas last year.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it just didn't work last year. Mm-hmm. But look at
of course, we wasn't picked to beat. Juggernauts or nothing, but it was a surprise. People thought the team was going to be better than what they were. And even in basketball, the basketball team is a great example.
Yeah.
We thought the Arkansas basketball team was going to be better. I think you're exactly right. I think really people have said for a long time the preseason polls are pointless. And even more so now. I agree with you.
Yeah, because you don't know what Taylon Green's going to do. Mm-mm. We've seen him practice, we've seen him in preseason, but we haven't seen him play football games.
Yeah,
we just haven't. We haven't seen him. Obviously, very good Mountain West player, but who really knows?
And we can feel really good about it. We can feel really good about the improvements. Carmona and the other offensive line additions. We can feel good about a lot of these guys.
On one way, the transfer portal is beautiful because, all right, I'm deficient on the offensive line. All right, I can go get a Blackenstock. I can get Addison. I can get Carmona to plug in with my guys I've already got, like Kudus and Marion Harris. And the offensive line, I think, is going to be fine depth-wise because when you hear them talking, they're talking about 13 deep, 14, 15 deep. Listen, there's going to be games where you may have to play 8, 9 offensive linemen. There's not going to be games where you have to play 13.
No, and Pittman said in the press conference this week, he said, we have our 8. He said, we have our 8. He said, there's some other guys we'd like to get in that rotation, but he said, we have our 8. And he said, and one thing he said, Clint, and I want to bring this up because I want to give you some credit, which I don't like to do too much, but hey, why not?
Every now and then I earn it.
Every now and then, no. But no, seriously. Harris, he's really bragging about him at guard. And he even said in the press conference this week, he said, really, guys, he said Harris may not be 5th if you rank those guys. He said he may be 3rd or 4th as far as your best lineman.
Yeah.
And you saw that in him in the Liberty Bowl when he came in a couple years ago against, was it Kansas?
Yeah, I did.
Because I remember during the game you texted me and said, guys, Harris is playing a well of a game right now. And I started watching him too. I'm like, you're right, man, he is. And so you've kind of been banging his drum ever since then. You're like, hey, that kid's got potential. That kid, every time his name's come up, you've echoed it. And I think we're going to see, he's starting this game because they're going to hold Kudus out on the depth chart. It says Harris or Kudus right now, I think. I think they got Kudus listed as number 1, but he said in the press conference that Kudus is going to sit out, that they're going to leave him out and that Harris will start. So, anxious to see that work.
I'm interested to see what he could do. I'm interested to see how the offensive line as a whole does.
Mm-hmm.
And kudos to Harris. He's an Arkansas kid. I think, was it Joe T you went to?
I'm not sure.
I know Chambly and Nico were both out of Maumelle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you've got Harris. I'm curious to see how they do. I'm Carmona. The offensive line. I think you're going to learn a lot about the team after this game. You're going to know what we have and if the problems on the offensive line are fixed. Because they didn't. The offensive opening against Weber State last year, the offensive line didn't look like world beaters against Weber State last year.
Yeah.
So are they sustaining their blocks? Is is Talon having to use his legs at all.
Yeah.
Because what do you want to see from the offense this game, Travis?
Here's the deal. I want to see the offensive line punish some people. I want to see, and I think that's going to start with Carmona. Because if you watch his tape, and when we had him on, I researched him. I watched his tape. He's got a nasty streak. And I think that's going to rub off on the rest of the offensive line. And I see him leading out. He's going to frustrate us sometimes because he's going to get some penalties. Because he's going to play on that edge where it's going to be, sometimes he's going to take things a little too far because he's going that hard. Okay. And I've said that before on here. I'm going to say it again, but we're going to love him for it. Just like we did Dan Skipper, just like we did Sebastian Tretola. We're going to love him for it. And so I'm excited about that. I want to see the receivers. I think there's more talent in the receiver room than even though we don't have many new additions. We got Anthony from, Texas A&M, but, most everybody, we got, CJ Brown, but everybody else is returning. But I think the reason they're returning is they're good receivers. I think Broden and Armstrong and Tesla. I think they're good receivers.
They really didn't have a chance to show what they could do last year.
They
didn't have time. And KJ is one of the best deep ball throwers I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he really is. He throws the deep ball about as well as anybody I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He didn't have a chance to do that last year.
And I think Bobby's gonna. Well, here's the thing. UAPB starting 2 freshmen at corners. 6'5", 6'6", 6'4", and our starting receivers should give them a lot of problems. Now they got a couple of safeties that are experienced, that'll be the kind of their heart of their defense. They got inexperience at the linebacker position. They lost their middle linebacker, transferred out. Their starting linebacker was an outside linebacker last year. They got some returning guys on the defensive line, but even the returning guys, Clint, they were 113 in FBS in defense last year. Okay. So this was a bad defense last year. Okay. So even the returning guys is not something to be too excited for if you're a UAPB. Okay?
Well, this is a game Arkansas should dominate.
Mm-hmm.
You look at we dominated Weber State last year and didn't look good. There's such a thing as the eye test, and that's really what I want to see. I want to see Arkansas pass the eye test on offense. Mm-hmm. And we won't know. I mean, when we do the next podcast, we do this 166.
Mm-hmm.
When we do 167, we'll know a whole lot more, and we can talk a lot more intelligent. Because the truth is, we don't know what we have. And how much 2 tight end is Petrino going to use? Because Ty Washington's a good tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking Luke Haas is a great tight end.
Oh yeah.
Jamar Easter, Gums. I mean, that tight end room is as deep as there is in the SEC. So I'm excited to see what they do. The running backs. I mean, the transfer from Utah, is he going to punish people? They're saying about Raylan Russell, that kid's a future All-American.
I don't think Dubinion's going to play.
Yeah, Dubinion may be sitting out, but Russell, but here's the thing with it, this is a chance for Russell to take that number 2 running back spot, take the second largest amount of carries, and if he, because that's,
I think in the long run that's going to be Rodney Hill,
and it could be Rodney,
Florida State transfer.
Yeah. But
you're right. I mean, it'll be Dubinion actually.
Yeah.
But I think this week it'll be Hill will be number 2. But I think Russell will be in there a lot. Because for one reason is they're gonna play him because he's a little, Central Arkansas boy.
Yeah. So
coming from
that's some things we're looking forward to on offense. What are you looking forward to? What are you looking to see out of this defense?
Are the linebackers as good as what they're saying they are? Because they're all new guys. I mean, we're besides Spence, we're replacing. You know, when he was a freshman last year, we're replacing the whole linebacker core.
No, sorry. He was a 5-star transfer from
No,
Georgia.
and there's some talent there. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. You pretty much you traded him for Pooh Paul. I mean, that's because on one hand, you look at the offense like, okay, we brought in, defense kind of like I felt like we lost, especially in the linebacker room. But even going back into the spring, it seemed like everybody was like, Pitt was like, I didn't realize how good those freshman linebackers were. I mean, that's pretty much what we've been hearing since
they
the
got
spring.
and everything we're hearing, they got size, they got speed, and I just want to confirm that they are. That's all. Okay, I think they are, but I mean, sometimes we've heard that about people and they haven't put it on the field.
If the defense is just as good as last year or just a smidge below, I want to see how the defensive line gets pressure. I feel like we lost a little bit on the interior of the defensive line. I think exterior we're fine. You got the guys back. I mean, you hear Quincy Rose is taking a big step forward. You hear Nico's name a lot. Jackson's freaking. I mean, he's a first round pick. We got lucky he came back. Man's a. I think the secondary is going to be solid.
We'll see. That's the other one that we got to,
So
I mean, I'll put it this way. I've watched some, they're not really national pundits, but some people that talk about Southeastern Conference football and as a whole. And they're picking us to be next to last in the league, most of them. And one of the reasons is they don't think our defensive backs and they don't think our linebackers are going to be very good.
But that's the thing when you have a bunch of new additions and stuff like that, and they haven't seen them. That's what you're going to get. Who last year would have picked Missouri to be a top 12 team?
Yeah.
I mean, Ole Miss. Yeah, what Kiffin's done is different, but what I'm saying is there every year I think there's going to be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 teams that are off the radar that no one sees coming.
Yeah.
That they're going to do. I mean, I think that's just the transfer portal age that we're in.
Yep.
And so this week is the UAPB lines, Golden Lines. And I hear if you're going to be in Little Rock, at least check out the band because their band's going to be incredible.
Well, and that's where UAPB will beat us. Because I love Arkansas. I mean, everything about the Razorbacks. But I'll tell you, I used to have season tickets, and our band lost most games. If you were judging it by the band, and I would stay and watch them because for some odd reason, and so our band hasn't always impressed me, especially when they were doing the, I don't know if you remember for a little while, one year they did I think it was Matt Jones's senior year. They did the Phantom of the Opera. It was pretty bad. They had this little table where the Phantom would disappear. And, you pretty much knew that he just went down into it anyway. But yeah, man. Now one of the things that came out this week that I was mentioning to you earlier that I wanted to talk about, Travis Williams, actually, this made some national, what's his name? So on College Game Day now, punter for the McAfee talked about this. So Travis Williams talked about sign stealing and about how they've had to, he got pretty detailed about how it's done and how teams have been doing it for a long time, and that but he didn't blame the other teams. He was like, hey, it's your fault if you don't change your signs. He said that was he at Florida State or whatever? He said that, or UCF. Wherever he was. No, UCF. That's right. He said wherever he was that he played somebody, and then the next year he talked to him and said, how did you, what signs did you know? And he said, they knew all of our signs. He said, and teams will have people that's all they do is go and study the signs
Right.
They'll study the players and they'll put them down on the field. It's not even up in the booth. They'll have them down on the field reading it. Like, and he said, if you don't change it up and if you don't hide them, it's your fault. He said, because everybody does it. He said, it's not, and Petrino talked about it too. He said,
Yep.
it's not like Houston Astros shady stuff. He said, it's just obvious. And they're saying that's, with the earpiece in the ear. So at Arkansas Tech, did y'all have people stealing y'all signs, you think?
Well, I don't know if we had people stealing our signs, but we were stealing other people's signs.
Yeah.
Which nothing, like I said, nothing illegal, nothing egregious.
Yeah.
Don't come back and try to rescind our 94 or 99 GSC title.
Yeah.
But Shane Savoy, backup quarterback, he was pretty good at. I remember we were playing West Alabama at West Alabama. I was a captain that game, but Shane was down there, and all of a sudden he said, "There goes, all right, where's my guy?" You go option right, and then they'd run option right. You go option left, and then, but he had cracked their code. And there's some that like I remember we were trying to steal UCA's, and he couldn't figure it out because it was just all so quick and all that. That's why I do think the helmet technology is a good thing. I think the part of the holdup been for years is that that they couldn't do it like on a rollout level across all of college football.
Yeah.
Um,
But now, like every high school stadium has Wi-Fi, and they can
yeah.
they
It
can
just
do it. I mean,
even if you don't do it like at the D2 level and you just keep it to FCS and FBS, I mean, that's fine. It needs to be done because if you fire a Division II football coach, he can go get a job of general manager somewhere at a restaurant and make just as much money.
Yeah.
But if you're like a high D1 football coach, you're talking about millions of dollars. There's a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what we want to say and how we want to feel, there's a difference. And the technology should be just a smidgen below the NFL.
Yeah.
Not on the same level, because I mean you're hiring coaches for the NFL and so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
it was time to upgrade the technology. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. Well, man, it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be exciting to get this week going. And
No, I'm excited. I'm ready for the stakes. I'm ready for football. It's just been it's always a long time, and when the season does not go the way you want it to go, and it hasn't went the way you want to go for the last couple of years.
yeah.
Yep, and I feel better about the depth in the quarterback room. I feel good about the receivers. I feel good about offense. I feel okay about defense.
Yeah.
I really do. And I think we're going to surprise some people. Obviously, with my 8-4 prediction, I do, and Otis agrees with me. And
That's all that matters.
the chemistry of the team seems better.
Yeah.
And not just lip service. It seems better. If you look at social media, see guys hanging out. You see Taylon Green at baseball games with Austin Ledbetter.
Yeah.
You don't see them, filling up their Corvette at the gas station and giving it a new wash and calling it your baby.
Yeah.
You don't see people displaying their bling. And that's not just a shot at KJ. I mean, KJ, people were giving KJ that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's also, at the same time, KJ is also the all-time leader in about every offensive category Arkansas has it for a quarterback.
Yeah.
KJ won a lot of games. He was a quarterback for that 9-4 season, that quarterback when we beat Texas. So he did a lot of good things. But I think it was time for him to move on, and I'm excited to see what Taylon Green's going to do. And I'm sorry that I beat him out for QB1 on NCAA 25. But it is what it is. I had to come in there and sling it, man.
That's right, buddy.
Yeah.
So. That's right. Well, and I was trying to look here. Trying to see what some other games were. On Thursday, you got Howard versus Rutgers, Western Carolina, North Carolina State. Wake against North Carolina A&T. UCF plays New Hampshire. Jackson State and Louisiana Monroe. That'll be an exciting game. North Dakota State and Colorado is on ESPN.
That may be a tougher game. North Dakota State's always tough.
Yeah.
That Saturday you've got Clemson versus Georgia.
Hey, what about Dabo is still not doing transfer portal stuff, Harley.
And this is why Nick Saban is Nick Saban and Dabo's not.
Yeah.
Because Nick Saban had the ability to grow with the game.
Yeah.
No, that's the way I've always done it. It's the way I'm going to do it. I mean, he fought paying the players forever. When you're on top, it's easy to want things to stay the way they are, but sometimes the game's going to grow. And you've got to grow with it, and you got to adapt with it. If not, then it leaves you behind. And that's what you've seen at Clemson, where Clemson went from 1A, an obvious playoff team every year, to now maybe they'll make the Gator Bowl. I mean, but that's until he embraces NIL and he embraces, the portal, that's the way it's going to be.
You're right.
So it is what a year Petrino is like. They should just play the players, just be done with it.
Yeah.
And I tend to agree with him.
Yeah. UCA plays Arkansas State. Who you got in that game?
Arkansas State.
Yeah.
Arkansas State, hopefully by a lot. I don't know who the Mighty Wonder Boys have this week. I do know that on October the 12th, they are honoring the 25th anniversary of your 1999 Gulf South Conference champions. Backup centered by truly Clint Clark.
Nice. You going to that?
Yeah, I'll probably. I had to make. Man, you can't do it without the best third stringer of all time, man.
That's right. That's right.
Me. But
that's right.
It's a good time. A good to go catch up with the boys.
Yeah. One of the better games it looks like will be Miami plays Florida, which Florida should get beat there. USC has LSU on Sunday.
They were talking on ESPN this morning about how that's one of the games that seems like it should be later in the year.
Yeah.
And then Boston College will play Florida State on Monday.
Yeah.
Which is kind of good that they're playing this week because it kind of gives them a chance to get the taste right in their mouth. So.
Yeah. For sure.
I'm going to tell. I was going to see. Yeah, pretty much that you've covered all the big games. Colorado State at Texas. Penn State at West Virginia Saturday night. That looks like that's Saturday morning. My phone's updated to Pacific time, so I'm like 9 a.m.
9 p.m. You mean?
9 a.m. here because the 11 o'clock games there.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, man. So should be a good one. Starting for the weekend. High school games are starting. Week 0, which is stupid. Why they call it week 0. But anyway.
That is.
But anyway, man, so I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What you watching?
Man, I watched White Earp and the Cowboy Wars.
Yeah, I started that and fell asleep, and I gotta go back and watch
it. What surprised me about it, because you assume that as a documentary is somewhat historically accurate. It surprised me how accurate Tombstone was to the actual events. I mean, obviously they were dramatized.
Yeah, but they they didn't quite get Wyatt right.
Yeah,
He was a little more of a crooked.
Yeah,
he wasn't the hero they make him out to be in real life.
But it's still like the chain of events was pretty good. I think Curly Bill and Johnny Ringo obviously weren't real. Ike Clanton was the actual leader of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
They kind of made him a doofus in the show.
Yeah.
But no, I thought that, but I did finish that. I watched the entire thing. Absolutely love it. Been watching Hard Knocks with the Chicago Bears.
Been watching that too. Yeah.
That's always a good watch. HBO does such a good job. Oh, yeah. They've done off season and stuff too, because you kind of see you see what's going on in the conversations that are actually had and how they happen, and you know how past relationships and stuff can kind of play into it. So
yeah. I was talking about a movie yesterday with somebody that I guess started talking about the Wyatt Earp deal and started thinking about Westerns and stuff. Did you ever watch A Man from Snowy River?
Man, I have, but it's been so long, I couldn't tell you.
I love that movie. That's one of my favorites of all time. So good.
So what have you been watching, Big T?
Well, same things, man. I've been watching those. I'm a big fan of like food channel shows. So like the food truck race and the barbecue brawl.
No, and I haven't finished. I haven't done the last season of Cobra Kai. I think I'm going to just wait till it's all one piece and I can just take a day and I can just binge watch it. They did release part 2 of that 90 show, and I love the 90 show. Just because it's more like what it was like for us growing up. Of course, me and you didn't drink or smoke or anything like that, but you know, them kids kind of do. But it's just the time and the place and kind of the
first part of Cobra Kai is really good.
Yeah, I can't wait because obviously I am, but eventually I'll catch up with it. So, but anyway,
it went by too fast for me.
Oh, it always does. It's like one of those you sit down to watch it, and then like a few hours later, you're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's the way I was with Wyatt Earp the Cowboy Wars. That was like a day or two. Of course, I love me a documentary. So.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Me too. Well, man, Clint, enjoy Vegas.
Viva Las Vegas!
If you win big, we'll jazz up the podcast, all right?
Yeah, we will. It'll be this background. It'll be you.
That's right. Yeah. That's
Hold on to me like Burt Reynolds on a bearskin.
That's right. Yeah, you get some real Doberman pinchers.
There you go, 100%. Real ones.
A real butler. It'd be awesome. Or whatever. What was that guy's name that he lived with? Anyway.
Oh, I have no idea.
Anyway. Well, man, let's go Hogs, baby. Like, share, comment on this one. Go back and listen to our picks for the whole season if you didn't last week. You know, we did the whole schedule game by game.
A lot of feedback on that. A lot of people saying like, no, they'll be lucky to win 6 games.
Yeah.
So, you know,
that's
pessimism's high, optimism's low, but you know what? There's only one way to turn it around, and they get a chance to do that starting Thursday.
That's right.
So,
folks, appreciate you so much. Like, share, comment, all the good things. Thanks for listening to the Hawg Slop podcast. I'm your boy Bigger T. That's Bigger C. We out.
Booka booka.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard drive so I can sow the seed. Ain't afraid of no aches and pain. Lord knows I gotta follow his lead. That's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filled.